Hey, afternoon, everybody. TGIF to all of you. It is the 24th of January, 2014. You know, about a day or two ago, a couple days, about 2 days ago, if you will, um, I did a very lengthy, as Sean McLean Zaranizrak pointed out, I did a very lengthy, about 55 minute, 50 minutes, something like that, audio video on my personal experience of being a fan of 30 years of Transformers, basically literally growing up with the franchise, if you know what I mean. But speaking of 30 years, I want to talk about something that is going to be celebrating 30 years. But it won't be celebrating 30 years until at least next year and going into 2016. And of course, I'm talking about what you see on the screen right in front of you, Transformers the movie. Now, as I mentioned in that very lengthy video, I have seen Transformers, as my sisters have pointed out to me, my two older sisters have pointed out to me. I've seen Transformers the movie probably over 1 billion times and know probably more and probably know every single line there is. And counting today, you could probably add another, and counting today, watching some of it, you could probably add basically watching the first 30 minutes of it so far today. You could probably add that to the over 1 billion times that I've seen this movie, according to my relatives and mostly my sisters. But anyway, I also mentioned in that video that I bought and have different basically I have different media versions of Transformers the movie. I recorded it back in the 89, 90 when me and my family lived in Fremont on Tamayo Street on a Saturday morning. I bought the VHS not once but twice. I'm not lying, and I'm not lying when I say this. One of the VHSs I bought, and I don't know if I have it here somewhere or I left it in Kansas, but one of the VHSs I bought was the actual European UK version. Yeah, the Rhino Entertainment had released the UK version to us. I don't know how that happened, but they did. And I also got the special collector's VHS, which is the uncut version, which was also released by Rhino Entertainment. I also got the special collector's DVD, which was released by Rhino Entertainment. And then later on, I got the 20th anniversary DVD released by Sony with the lithograph, if you will, the little lithograph, I guess you call it. And I got that at a midnight release when I worked for Walmart. All in all, I have had different versions of the Transformers movie. I even have the original Marvel Comics adaptation of Transformers the movie, as well as the IDW, I think it's IDW, or Dreamwave, which one it is. It's one of the two. IDW, I believe. I'm not really sure. Adaptation of Transformers the movie as well both in comic book form. The Marvel one and the IDW one. And hopefully, as of right now, depending on my financial situation, or even depending on that, this is going to be one of the movies I get through Amazon.com, courtesy of the Transformers Specialist. I am going to be getting the region free. You heard me right, region free Transformers the movie 1986 Blu-ray. That's right. I am hopefully it'll still be available by the time I get it and it won't go up in price. But yeah, that's my plan as of right now. Depending on what happens financially, depending on whether or not, and I may have to take out a few items out of my cart and put them in the saved section of my Amazon account. I do plan to get Transformers the movie region-free Blu-ray. The only thing I've heard and understood about this Blu-ray by which is distributed by Madman Entertainment, is that even though the movie is region-free, the extras are not. Man, that's fine. It's no big deal. I have a DVD fab, but I don't have no Blu-ray drive, so that's the only bitch of it. Excuse my language, Lord. But yeah, that's the only bad thing about it. But overall, people have said the Blu-ray looks very good. So I'm looking forward to adding that to my collection. But anyway, getting back to Transformers the movie by itself. I explained in my lengthy video yesterday, or the other day, of how I wanted to see it in the theaters. Of how I reacted and how happy I was that it was coming to theaters. And how much I wanted to go to the theaters and see it. But I couldn't. Because, well, being 7 years old, I was still very hyperactive. And at that time, if you listen to the fan commentary on the 20th anniversary edition, even though the movie was rated PG, PG was basically meant you can get away with just about anything in a movie. You can get away with killing, you can get away with violence, you can get away with swearing a little bit more than usual. You could just basically get away with a lot more in PG back then than what you can now. I mean, heck, a lot of people look at PG as being almost the new equivalent of G at times. I'm not lying. It's like all you have to do is have some rude humor and some fart jokes or whatever, and you get the PG seal of approval. Anyway, back then PG was basically equivalent of both PG and PG-13. So it covered all the bases. But the reason for this video, to get to the point, when I listen to the fan commentary and even the filmmaker director commentary, if you will, you basically get the same kind of response after certain scenes go by. One person said on the fan commentary that after the killing of the Autobots, Ironhide, Ratchet, Prowl, and Brawn, that after the killing of those characters, and of course after the brutal execution, if you know, blowing up of Ironhide by Megatron, according to one of the people on the fan commentary, from what they heard and understood, a lot of the parents took their kids, who were Transformer fans as well, and they were gone. They were out of the theaters. And I think that was also confirmed later on with the kind of like the filmmaker, the director commentary. I think that's what it's called. Let me look at it right now. Yeah, director, story consultant, voice commentary, if you will. But yeah, that's basically what they said. That the fans said, in the fan commentary, they said after the execution, the killing of the Autobots on the shuttle, you know, a lot of parents took the kids and they were gone. The same could be said by the director, Nelson Shin, Flynn Dilley, and Susan Blue, that after the death of Optimus Prime, a lot of people did the same thing. They left. And the reason being is because Transformers the movie caught a lot of people off guard. In fact, as a matter of fact, according to the fan commentary, it basically changed the way a lot of people would present their animated movies, whether or not the animated movie was based on a show, on a franchise or an animated show or not, it basically changed the way things were seen. It changed the way things were seen. And like I said in my video, my audio video a couple days ago, it was probably a smart move on my parents' part to not take a hyperactive 7-year-old to the theaters to see this movie and just literally see his favorite Autobots, his favorite characters, get slaughtered in front of his eyes. Probably the best idea. Because later on, when I saw the VHS for the first time, like I said in the video, I loved it, I enjoyed it. But my mom, I could tell from what I understood, was taken aback a little bit by how much violence was in the movie. By how much violence was in the movie, and even at the time, the only swearing they had, which was "damn," and that was it. But she was obviously taken aback by the violence. So my question I'm posing to you guys, and Sean McLean, Zara Nizarek, I'd love to hear from you on this, is what was your family's first initial reaction when they, along with you, first saw Transformers the movie? What was you and your family's first initial reaction? What was your thoughts on it overall? What was your reactions when you first saw it either in theaters or for the first time on VHS? What was your initial reaction, and more importantly, what was your family's initial reaction? Because I could tell you, like I said, even though I have seen, according to my sister, this movie 1 billion times plus today, even though it's only 30 minutes of it, I still go back, and my mom, I could tell you this, even though she let me watch it a lot of times because it was Transformers, like I can obviously recall, I don't know why, that she was taken back by the violence. She was. I think she even told my nephew Andrew a couple years ago, because my nephew Andrew took me for my birthday to go see Transformers Dark of the Moon for my birthday at the Regal Theaters in Modesto. And she told my nephew that, yeah, your uncle cried. And I don't know if I cried or not, but I think I hid my head in a big gray pillow I used to have. But I definitely hid my head a little bit when Prime died. I will say that. I hid my face. I didn't cry, but I hid my face. It's like, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see it, honestly. But, yeah, I think she even told him, I'm not really sure, I think she even told him that she was kind of taken aback a little bit of how violent it was. Because here is a show that I would come home and watch after school, or she would let me watch because, obviously being at the age I was, she didn't want to take any chances with me being outside and, with things the way they were at times. You never knew. So anyway, she basically said she was taken aback by it because he, again, like I said, here was a show that I grew up on watching after school, and all of a sudden, here's the movie, and the movie's way different and way more violent than anything she could ever expect. So again, I pose the question to all of you, Sean McLean, those here at the Transformer Group Faceboards, Comic Book Issues Faceboard, Animation Films, Zara Nizarek again, Sean McLean, MJ Knight. I pose the question to you guys: what was your family's first initial reaction, and what was your first initial reaction to Transformers the movie when you first saw it? So that's all I'm asking. I told you what mine was, and let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. And that's all I'm going to say. But let me know what your first initial reaction was, and maybe what your family's first initial reaction was, or anybody that you know of. What was their first reaction to the movie?